We back!
The first film in the Scary Movie franchise came out in 2000. The 2000s being, in my opinion, the best decade for comedy. It had a load of films which have aged perfectly, like Superbad, White Chicks, The Hangover, and so on. It also had a ton of really forgettable ones, but so does every decade. Now, I'm not saying we don't get good comedies anymore. We still get some every now and again, but 2000s comedies just have a vibe to them we don't really see anymore. This period was also known for a specific subgenre of comedy, that being the stoner comedy. We haven't been completely starved of these lately. We had Pete's Movie not so long ago, which I found really fun, and it reminded me of a dumb Judd Apatow film, which would have released like 20 years ago. But the 2000s had Pineapple Express, Superbad, and of course, Scary Movie. You could also argue that the 90s were better since they had films like Friday and Dazed and Confused. We're talking about Scary Movie here. When Scary Movie came out, it was a global hit, making a ton of money at the box office, creating iconic lines.
Who's that?
And was generally well received. People loved how it took dumb things from horror movies and made them way dumber. It also had iconic characters like Shorty. And most people found it really funny in general. The Wayans brothers, who acted in and directed the film, were quick to capitalize and released the sequel just a year later. The sequel was decent. It didn't quite reach the highs of the first film, but people still really liked it. However, this is where things took a turn. Both Scary Movie 3 and 4 released in the next 5 years. I personally haven't watched these, but people have generally told me that they're not so great. And then there's Scary Movie 5. Once again, I haven't watched this one, but to be fair, I don't think I'm missing out on much. Scary Movie 5 is currently sitting at a 1.7 on Letterboxd, which is pretty bad. It's now been 13 years since that came out, and so the Scary Movie franchise has been basically forgotten since then. That was up until a reboot was announced. The trailer for Scary Movie 6 released in February this year, and brought up a lot of questions. Obviously, the franchise has been in the mud for quite a while, but this film brought back the Wayans brothers who had been left out of the 3rd, 4th and 5th movies. So people started to question whether this film might actually be good. The trailer looked decent enough, and there were nods to some pretty popular films like Sinners, Weapons and The Substance, which seemed pretty cool. So let's talk about the film itself. The general plot of Scary Movie 6 is basically a copy and paste of Scream 5, with the main characters being the children of the original characters. Our two new leads, who are supposed to be copies of the Carpenter sisters from Scream 5, are pretty trash to be honest. I mean, I can't really blame them, and I don't want to put down young, upcoming actors, but they just didn't have much to work with. One character was literally called Tuesday, which was supposed to be a joke about how Jenna Ortega, who starred in Scream 5, plays Wednesday. I think this joke itself just kind of sums up how the rest of the movie goes and how entertaining these two characters are. Every time either of them is the center of attention, you really just have to wait it out, because in reality, everyone went to watch this movie for the original cast and wants some dumb fun with characters like Shorty. Eventually, we are introduced to the original cast. Cindy has gone mad, Shorty's still getting high in high school, Ray is still gay, and Brenda's still doing whatever she does. I think the scenes where all these guys are together are the most enjoyable of the film. Obviously, I did just hit on the two new characters, so yeah, this makes sense. Plot-wise, I don't think anyone in the audience really cared, and the writers don't look like they did either. It was all really messy, but this is unsurprising considering this is a scary movie. What I think everyone came to this movie for was the comedy. So how was that? Well, it was very hit and miss, but I'd say the majority were misses. When you market the movie in a way like they have here, where all the trailers are saying something like, every line will be crossed, or this is going to be really offensive, people are going to expect a lot. When our expectations are this high and they just throw some mild jokes at us, it just feels really lackluster. I'm sure there will be people out there who say something like, the jokes were funny, you just hate having fun, or something about wokeness in defense of simply bad and lazy writing.
You sure you're ready for this shit? Because your generation has no idea.
I grew up watching these.
All right, I warned you. I warned you. All right, let's do this. All right, here we go. The Epstein Files. Okay. Look at your face.
You can't just say something transphobic or joke about pronouns and expect the theatre to erupt with laughter. It's just not that funny. It's not that the audience is too woke to get it. It's just lazy writing. I have to admit, there were some good jokes here and there, but they were just way too rare to say this movie was remotely funny. If I were to rewatch the original Scary Movie now, I would laugh a ton. when I watched Scary Movie 6 with an almost full theatre. There was basically complete silence other than the occasional chuckle from someone half watching and half on their phone. A big thing which these movies are known for is making fun of other horror movies. Like how the original was based on Scream and the second had references to The Exorcist and other films. I said earlier that this film referenced Sinners, Weapons and The Substance, all successful horror movies of the last 2 years. The references were just pretty random, to be honest. Like, The Substance one came out of nowhere and there wasn't really a joke, things just happened. All they really did was change the name from The Substance to The Stuff, which is pretty lazy, and have you turn to Marlon Wayans from White Chicks instead of Margaret Qualley. The Weapons one was also really weak. They just had the kids running as they do in the movie. The only difference is one said 6'7" and got hit by a car in the end. Just really weak shit. It all just seemed like a Family Guy episode with random cutaways every few minutes, but in this case, none of the cutaways were even funny. There was one particular scene which just made me contemplate whether I should leave the cinema. I'm not going to spoil it, but if you have watched it, it's the scene where they reference K-pop Demon Hunters. That has to be one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in the movie theatre, and that was uncomfortable as hell. Maybe that was what they meant by the whole all lines will be crossed thing, but this wasn't even funny, this was just strange. I know I've been hating on this movie for the entirety of the video, but I understand why people will still like it. The Scary Movie franchise as a whole is very divisive. Some people think they're the peak of comedy, maybe not the later films, but I can hear the argument for the first two.
What's up? Yo, Duque, pick up the phone.
Yo.
What's up?
And others will say it's just a series of poorly written jokes, which are just offensive for the sake of it. For me, I really like the first Scary Movie and can look past the offensiveness of the jokes, as they are generally funny. However, Scary Movie 6 tries too hard to use dark humour, which just falls flat most of the time, and makes this a pretty terrible film. I know there will be plenty of people out there who had a great time with this and loved every joke. This just wasn't for me. So where does it rank in terms of films released in 2026? Well, at the moment I have it sitting at last, but bear in mind that I generally only watch films that I think are going to be good or I have some connection to the franchise. So I haven't watched crap like Melania or that Silent Hill movie which everyone hated. Scary Movie 6 is overtaking Michael as my least favourite of the year. Also, in my video about the Backrooms movie, there was a lot of confusion in the comments. I liked that movie. I literally gave it a 7 out of 10, and people in the comments were acting like I was hating on it. Anyway, that's what I thought of Scary Movie 6. Go watch it in theatres now to form your own opinion, and as always, like, subscribe, and comment what you want to see next.